Alright, this is part 3 of my favorite Suicide Mastery friendly champions. These champions are from my experiences playing MCOC. I have Suicide Masteries activated every day 24/7, and I never turn them off. If you don't see a champ on this list that you think goes well with Suicides, then maybe check out part 1 and part 2 that I made earlier this year. I will put those videos in the description and in the comments. If you do not know what Suicide Masteries are, I explained it in my part 1 video, and also there are dozens of other YouTube videos out there explaining what they are. In my previous videos, part 1 and part 2, I talked about champs like Clairvoyant, Apocalypse, Wolverine, Captain Marvel, Ghost, Mega Red, and more. If I still missed a champ from all 3 videos, including this one, or missed an ability from a champ, let me know in the comments. This is my criteria when I decide if a champ goes well with Suicides or not. They have a way to deal with the poison and bleed debuffs. Either if it's shrugging them off, purifying them, or they're just straight up immune to the debuffs. Turning the debuffs into a positive. Debuffs are obviously a negative, so turning a negative into a positive. Like Omega Red, he turns the bleed into Death Field, and he also heals from the bleed from his bleed resistance ability. Clairvoyant turns the debuffs into power gain, and she also gains clairvoyance charges. So things like that. Number 3 is champions who have regeneration. Heal back any damage from the debuffs or from the recoil damage. And number 4 is special 1 spamming. Some champs really rely or benefit greatly from using the special 1 over and over again, like Void. Even though he has a synergy with Killmonger that helps soften the recoil damage, he regenerates 1% health every time he inflicts one of his debuffs on the opponent. But still, spamming the special 1 over and over and over again is not suicide friendly, and your health is going to drain really quickly. And champs like Hyperion, he can go really well with Suicides, or he can suck with Suicides. If you spam his special 1 over and over again to put the Incinerates on the opponent, you're gonna drain like all your health. Alright, just a disclaimer, the champs on this list are not ranked in any way or in any order except for the very first champ, which I will explain. Some champs are gonna have an asterisk next to their name for a variety of reasons, which I will explain later. So first champion I'm talking about, I already talked about in my part 2 video, but he deserves mentioning again due to the fact that he has easily become my favorite suicide friendly champion, and that is Namor. It bums me out that I've been missing out on the Namor experience because he's been in the game for over 2 years now, but I have only just recently ranked him up. We all know when he's at Sig 200, any damage he takes while he's attacking, he throws that damage back at the opponent. My dumbass assumed that this was only damage from like certain nodes like Thorns, where you hit the opponent and you take damage, or certain champs like Korg or Electro, when you hit them you take damage, then Namor throws that back. I thought that's like the only thing his utility was good for, but no, nay. It also works when he's suffering from damaging debuffs. Whatever damage he takes from the debuffs, he throws it back at the opponent. This includes Suicide Mastery debuffs, and that is freaking amazing. I love that so much. He's literally perfect for Suicide Mastery. And even better, when he's attacking into the opponent and throwing that debuff damage back at them, he still heals from willpower. So he takes no damage while attacking and he heals at the same time. So he's just perfect for Suicides. And this mechanic also works when he's hitting into the opponent's block. So you can still hit into their block and the debuff damage is thrown at them and you just heal. On top of all this, you still have regeneration from every special attack. The special 1, special 2, special 3 all give regeneration. Alright, next champ I'm going to talk about is Dormammu. He should be the #1 candidate to get a buff or a value update. He already has good utility as a Mystic champ, but his base damage is really lacking in 2021. That being said, he does benefit from the Suicide Mastery with the attack increase, and he's double immune. He has a strong regeneration after using the special 3 and using a soul bond detonation. I have been in fights with my 6-star rank 2 Dormammu where I'm around like 40-50% health. I use the soul bond detonation after a special 3 and I shoot right back up to like 90-100% health. His regeneration is crazy. Diablo is up next. After his new buff, He is very, very Suicide Mastery friendly. He's like perfect for Suicide Mastery. He has a lot of regeneration. First, just like Immortal Abomination, he's not technically immune to poison. He just takes 100% less damage from poison. So the poison debuff is still on you. It just does no damage and you heal from it. He also has a regeneration effect from every single special attack. An added regeneration from the special one, which helps counter recoil damage, and from the bleed debuff. And with the correct pre-fight ability chosen, the special 3 also grants a really strong regeneration effect. I believe the pre-fight is called Distilled Will. From his awakened ability, this ability is perfect for Suicide Mastery, with an effect that reduces all damage sources while he is poisoned, ranging from 15% reduction to 30% reduction. This means the bleed debuff inflicts less damage and recoil damage is reduced. Did I mention that Diablo is perfect for suicides? Okay, good. In 2016, we got Hyperion. 2017, we got Medusa. 2018 gave us Corvus Glaive. 2019, we got Captain Marvel. 2020, Cosmic Ghost Rider. Now, in 2021, the new annual addition to the Cosmic God to MCOC is Super Scroll. Nah, I'm just kidding. It's fucking Hercules. And hot damn, does he go well with suicides. First, he is a support champ ability, which is in a category of its own that I'll explain towards the end of the video. He has a synergy with himself called Next Round is on Me. It gives a benefit to other champions that have Suicide Mastery active. While Hercules is alive, #hero champs are given plus 10% attack rating. With one of the most broken signature abilities in the game, when he would be knocked out, he instead gains an immortality buff, preventing death for a max of 9 seconds. This buff can also be paused to max out the duration even longer. Bleed debuffs are 50% less potent, and poison debuffs are 15% less effective. These two put together means that he heals more from willpower than the debuff damage actually does to you. Last ability is a small one, but it deserves being mentioned. His special 3 gives an indestructible buff, preventing all incoming damage, including debuff and recoil damage. Next champion, I do not have ranked up as a 5 or 6 star on my main account, but I do have a lot of practice with him, and that is Guardian. Not Red Guardian, which is the Russian Guardian. This is the Canadian Guardian. To work well with Suicide Mastery, he does need to be awakened and have a really high sig level. But once at max sig, he has a crap ton of block proficiency and energy resistance to help incoming damage. He also has 75% bleed resistance, so the bleed debuff actually heals him more. To add on to the incoming damage resistance, he also has an armor up buff, increasing armor rating by 2000. Also, well-timed blocks, parry, against special attacks have a 100% perfect block chance. His playstyle is also targeted towards Suicide Mastery, using a special 3 to build up your charges, and then using a really strong special 2 to release all those charges and deal huge energy damage. Immortal Hulk. He is basically already a suicide champ to begin with. And by that I mean he's already damaging himself. So what's a little extra damage from Suicide Mastery, from recoil and the bleed, right? And the main thing with Immortal Hulk is you kind of want to get to 0% health, or 1% health, I guess, to get the unblockable, and then once after that, you regenerate, and yeah. And on top of that, he's also poison immune, so you only have to deal with the bleed. He gains more attack rating for more health that he has lost. In his abilities, he actually changes the recoil mastery and reduces it a little bit. Basically, he takes less damage from recoil. Instead of flat 5% damage, it's around 3 to 4%. Also, he cannot be knocked out from recoil damage, which is awesome, because I have been in countless scenarios where I'm at like 5% health or less, and I want to use a special 1 or special 2, but I just can't because it's gonna kill me, obviously. And just like Hercules, Hulk gains an immortality when he would be knocked out. Once immortality is over, he regenerates a lot of health back. His playstyle and abilities go perfectly with Suicide Mastery. Dragon Man is next up on the list, and I'm gonna keep it short and sweet. He is a double immune robot. basically it. Honestly, he should just be an honorable mention, but screw it. I love Dragon Man, and I took him to 6-star rank 3, so I want him on the list. All I have to say, Dragon Man, good with suicides. That's it. That's my take. And I guess he does have a small regeneration effect. After using a special 3, you go unstoppable, and then he heals most of the damage back that you would take. Alright, next champion. Next champion I'm going to talk about is Ultron after his buff. Now, Ultron, after his buff, is amazing. But even before his buff, he still benefited a lot from Suicide Mastery. He's a double immune robot, and he has regeneration buffs. That's basically it. It's all you need to counter Suicide Mastery. When you reach 50% health, or when you reach 25% health, you gain a really strong regeneration buff. It shoots you back up like 25% extra health. It shoots you back up. It's really, really strong. Probably my second favorite champ to be released this year, behind Hercules, is Shang-Chi. Shang-Chi, however you want to say it. I say Shang-Chi, whatever. He falls under the category I'll mention later, which is skilled champions that can purify or shrug off debuffs, and they kind of fall under the honorable mentions. If you follow the right rotation, he can purify the debuffs as soon as the fight starts. It all depends on your own playstyle, but what I found best is at the very start of the fight, use a medium, light, medium, which purifies the debuffs. After that, you just go through his rotation of building up all the chi charges, and then you reach a special 3 and get even more chi charges, and then you build up to a huge special 2, which usually knocks out the opponent. So with this rotation, you don't have to worry about recoil damage. Another champ that's been released this year is Mangog. And yes, I will admit, his basic attacks and his special one don't hit that hard. Once he gets more hatred going and he gets enraged, his attacks are better. So he benefits a lot from Suicide Mastery with the attack increase. First, he's a bleed immune. And when he's enraged, he takes 50% less damage from all enemy attacks and recoil damage. So the 5% recoil damage is reduced down to only 2.5%. Last, he has a regeneration from the special 3, and the regeneration gets stronger and stronger for every buff that's been nullified throughout the fight. Say what you want about Mangog, but I like him, and he's been my MVP for the Hydra Adaptoid Summer of Pain boss. Check that fight out if you want. I just posted it a little bit ago. That's the end of the list for official champs that are on my favorite Suicide Mastery friendly champions. Now we get into the champs that have an asterisk next to their name for a variety of reasons, which I will explain. First is Mysterio. Mysterio I have on my second account as a 5-star rank 5. And on my second account, I don't run Suicide Mastery. But having played with him for a while, I do believe he would actually benefit from Suicide. Now first, he's poison immune. And his playstyle fits perfectly with Suicide Mastery. His special one is pretty useless unless he's on defense, or unless you absolutely know for sure you can take a few hits from the opponent, survive, and then you throw that damage back at the opponent. But I have never used his special one as an attacker, so. The rotation I use is I build up 3 gas charges, use a heavy, inflict a poison on the opponent, build up 3 more charges until I get to a special 3, use the special 3, and then that gives you attack rating boost and poison damage boost. And then while that effect is still active, get another 3 charges as fast as possible, and then use another heavy attack, which will inflict a stronger poison debuff on the opponent. And you just repeat this over and over again, special 3, and then poison the opponent. And you should never have to worry about recoil damage. But depending on the certain situation, you can use his utility and gas charges to heal block the opponent instead of inflicting them with poison, or power drain them from the special 2. So utility-wise, Mysterio is an awesome tech champion with power drain and heal block. But if you're just focused just on damage, you should never have to worry about recoil following the rotation I mentioned above. Let me know if you have a different rotation for Mysterio if you run Suicide Mastery. Alright, Mojo, another champ that I have with the asterisk. And he is also a champ I have on my second account. Once again, I do not run Suicide Masteries on my second account. But his playstyle, I think, if you use him correctly, you never have to use the special one, really. I have rarely ever used the special 1 with Mojo. I'm always using the special 2 and special 3. The recoil should be less of an issue. Also, Mojo has a regeneration effect after a buff expires or is nullified on the opponent, so he should be able to heal most of the damage from the poison, bleed, and recoil. Let me know if you have Mojo ranked up and run Suicide Mastery. I want to know if he actually is great with them, or if he's better off being on an account without Suicide Mastery. Alright, next champ on the list with the asterisk next to their name is King Groot. Now, King Groot is a little bit of an unknown right now. He's still up in the air. At the time of recording this and writing the script, it's July 30th, and his buff isn't live just yet. But on paper, he should be great with Suicide Mastery. So, in a few more months, when I make part number 4 of my favorite Suicide champions, he'll probably have to be on that list. But for right now, he's an asterisk, alright? So right now, we know that he's bleed immune. That's good. He also has Fury buffs. He can sacrifice one of those Fury buffs to purify a debuff. And his Awakened ability and Special 3, he gets a really strong regeneration buff. So on paper, before his buff is live, he looks to be really friendly with Suicide Mastery, but I can't say for sure just yet. Blade and Ghost Rider. Now, on my main account with the Suicide Mastery, I have both these champs at 5-star rank 4. I never took them to max rank. On my second account, without Suicide Mastery, they're both 5-star rank 5. Playing with both of them for a long time now on my second account, I can definitely say they both benefit from Suicide Mastery. The more power Blade has, the faster debuffs expire, the bleed, and he has a really strong regeneration from his Awakened ability. Ghost Rider is bleed immune, and he probably has one of the strongest regenerations in the whole entire game from his heavy attack. Only thing is, to complete their little synergy trio, you need Blade, Ghost Rider, and Stark Spider-Man. And Stark Spider-Man sucks with Suicide Mastery, so now we're moving on to a different category, which is support champs. This category is for champions that help other characters go well with Suicide Mastery. War Machine. By himself, he's okay with Suicide Mastery because his Awakened ability with a really high sig level gives him really strong regeneration. But he is in the support category for a reason. He has cleanse charges that can help other tech champions purify debuffs, including the Suicide Mastery bleed and poison. So like he can give the cleanse charges to like Star-Lord. Bleed, poison, gone. Apocalypse. Already mentioned and talked about him in another video. By himself, Apocalypse is great with Suicide Mastery, having bleed immunity and also regeneration from the Awakened ability. But he's also a support champ. So I'm gonna talk about him again real quick. The famous Horseman of Apocalypse ability gives other mutant champs 100% bleed resistance. So those champions regenerate from bleed and take no damage from the bleeds. Nick Fury, also talked about him in a previous video, but I'm gonna talk about him real quick. With the Deadpool synergy, champs receive a restore kit, purifying one of the debuffs and regenerating 10% health. So it doesn't purify the poison and the bleed, it only purifies one, but they regenerate 10% health, which is honestly a lot. And the last support champ I'm talking about is Purgatory. She has this synergy called Dimensional Buddies with the Hood, Magic, and Mephisto, and it makes all 3 of them bleed immune. And she also gives them a couple other perks. Dormammu is also included in this synergy, but he's already a bleed immune, so. Are there any other support champs that I missed that help other characters go well with Suicide Mastery? Let me know. I mentioned War Machine, Apocalypse, Nick Fury, and Purgatory. I think that's it. This next category is called Skill Champs. I decided to make this its own category and not officially put it on the list. There are a lot of skill champs in the game that can shrug off or purify debuffs. Alright, this is the last category I'm talking about. Video's almost over. I'm gonna go through these quick because this video is gonna be pretty long. These are honorable mentions. And this is the end of my favorite champs with Suicide Mastery. This video took a while to type the script, record the footage, and it's gonna take a while to edit. So I appreciate any views and any likes that you guys give me. At the end of the year, when more new champs are released and more champions get more buffs, I'll probably make a part 4 video. I also need to work on a video of champions that do not go well with suicides. My least favorite champions with Suicide Mastery. I still gotta work on that, but let me know if I missed anything. If you viewed part 1, part 2, part 3, if I missed anything at all, let me know in the comments, okay? And once again, like I said, check out part 1 and part 2. It'll be in the comments and in the description. Thank you for watching.